Pray this prayer and begin the new year with strength and direction. Before any goal, before any plan, before any promise made to yourself, there is a silent truth that sustains this moment. You are here because you were sustained. It wasn't by your strength, it wasn't by your consistency, it wasn't because you were always right. It was because even amidst the wear and tear, you were not consumed. This is exactly where this prayer begins. The Lord's mercies are the reason we are not consumed. They are new every morning. This new year does not begin with demands, but with mercy. It doesn't start with demands, but with loyalty. It is not born from what you have managed to do, but from what God has decided to renew. There are people who have gone through the last year wounded. Others have gone through it empty. Some survived on autopilot. Others carried burdens that no one saw. And yet, the day dawned. The calendar turned. Life went on. This is not chance, this is mercy in action. Today, as you begin this new cycle, you are not starting from scratch. You are starting from the point where you were sustained. You are starting from everything that tried to consume you, but failed. You are starting because God's faithfulness never sleeps, never tires, and does not depend on your performance. Mercy is renewed every morning because life, every day, demands more than we have to give. There are days when courage runs out. There are days when hope weakens. There are days when faith seems too small for the size of the responsibilities. And yet, mercy presents itself as sufficient provision. A new year doesn't mean the absence of struggles. A new year means renewed support, and it is with this awareness that we now pray. Lord, at the beginning of this year, I don't start by declaring my own strength. I begin by acknowledging mercy. I recognize that I have arrived here not because I was perfect, but because I was protected. Not because I was constant, but because I was sustained. Not because I deserved it, but because you were faithful. There are marks you don't see this new year, but that the Lord knows. There are nights that remained from last year, but whose consequences still try to carry over into this new time. There are wearinesses that cannot be resolved with rest, only with inner renewal. Therefore, before asking for anything, I acknowledge, if I have not been consumed, it is by your mercy. May this first day not be lived in haste. May this first prayer not be said out of obligation. May this beginning be marked by spiritual awareness. Teach me to begin by recognizing that each morning is a renewed gift, not an automatic guarantee. Some people started the year with well-defined plans, but their hearts were misaligned. Others started with faith, but without direction. Still others started simply trying to survive. Today I choose to begin by acknowledging that the foundation of everything is not what I do, but what the Lord renews. Renew, Lord, that which time has worn away. Renew the faith that has been diminished by disappointments. It renews the hope that had become too cautious. It renews the inner strength that has been drained by repeated struggles. May this new year not be merely a weary continuation of the previous one. May it be a cycle sustained by fresh, living, daily mercy. May I not try to live this time supported by emotional promises, but by eternal faithfulness. Teach me to begin each morning remembering that your mercy arrived before me, before fear awoke, before anxiety spoke, before responsibilities weighed me down, before external voices tried to define me. Your mercy was already there, waiting for me. Today I reject the idea that I need to prove something to deserve a good start. I accept that I start well because I am reached by your faithfulness. I don't enter this year trying to compensate for past failures. I enter recognizing that the Lord did not consume me, even when I thought I couldn't take it anymore. May this awareness guide this beginning. May this understanding shape my expectations. May I not build this year on fleeting euphoria, but on the silent certainty that the Lord renews what sustains him. I don't know everything this year will bring. I don't know which days will be light and which will be heavy. I don't know which doors will open or which will remain closed, but I know that, as long as there is morning, there will be renewed mercy, and that is enough for me to begin with. May I not underestimate the power of small new beginnings. May I not ignore the value of simply getting up and trusting once more. May I not allow the weight of the past to steal the grace of what is beginning. Today, I don't start by demanding results. I begin by surrendering my heart. I begin with silent gratitude. I begin by acknowledging that the Lord's faithfulness endures through years, cycles, falls, and new beginnings. If this year needs to be built step by step, so be it. If it needs to be rebuilt in areas that have collapsed, so be it, as long as each morning is lived with the certainty that I am not consumed because I am sustained. May this prayer mark a new beginning that is more conscious, humble, and profound. Not a beginning based on empty promises, but on renewed mercy. Today I find rest in this truth. Today I begin from there. Today I walk supported by her. The Lord's mercies are renewed every morning, and that's why I continue. Entering a new era has never been just about a change of scenery. In spiritual history, new times have always demanded new inner attitudes. And that is why, before any conquest, before any advance, before any promise was fulfilled, God did not give Joshua a map. He gave him a command: be strong and courageous. It wasn't advice, it wasn't a suggestion. It was a direct instruction for someone who would be stepping into new territory, carrying responsibilities they had never borne before. Joshua was not entering an easy time. He was entering an unknown time. The previous leader had departed. The weight of leadership now rested on his shoulders. Expectations were high. The challenges were real. And fear was a silent visitor, trying to infiltrate even before the first step. It is in this context that this word resonates for this new year. Strength and courage are not feelings. They are spiritual decisions. They don't arise because fear has disappeared, but because obedience needs to move forward despite it. There are people beginning this new year exactly as Joshua began that time, aware of the promise, but still feeling the weight of responsibility. They know they need to move forward, but they carry unanswered questions within them. They know they cannot remain where they are, but they also don't feel entirely ready for what is to come. And that's exactly where this word finds you. Do not be afraid or discouraged. Fear tries to paralyze you before you even take the first step. Discouragement tries to make you lose faith even before the journey begins. This new year doesn't demand the absence of fear from you. It demands decision. It does not require complete self-confidence. It requires obedience sustained by the presence of God. God didn't tell Joshua the path would be easy. He said that he would be there. And that changes everything. Because true strength doesn't come from self-confidence. It stems from the certainty that you are not walking alone. There are transitions that are more exhausting than battles. There are changes that drain more energy than direct conflicts. Starting a new cycle requires internal farewells, silent breakups, repositionings that no one sees, but that cost a lot on the inside. Therefore today, this prayer does not ask you to be invincible. She calls on you to be obedient. Being strong in this context doesn't mean not feeling. It's about not backing down. Being brave here doesn't mean not trembling. It's about not giving up. Joshua needed to hear this because he would be treading in places Moses hadn't. And you too are entering areas of your life where older versions of yourself haven't reached. New responsibilities, new decisions, new challenges demand a version of yourself that is strengthened internally. This new year will not be sustained by initial enthusiasm alone. It will require consistency. It will require perseverance. It will require daily choices to stand firm when the urge to retreat arises. And that is why we pray today. Lord, just as you spoke to Joshua, speak to me at the beginning of this new cycle. Do not let me confuse strength with the absence of fear, nor courage with impulsiveness. Teach me to walk aware of your presence, even when the situation challenges me. There are steps I need to take this year that frighten me. There are decisions that will require emotional and spiritual maturity. There are territories that will only be conquered if I don't allow discouragement to dictate the pace. Therefore today I receive this order, not as a burden but as direction. Be strong, be brave. May this word guide my actions. May it silence the inner voices that say I am incapable. May it confront the fear disguised as excessive caution. May it remind me every day that your presence does not depend on my performance, but on your faithfulness. I don't know all the details of the journey, but I know who is walking with me. I don't control the outcomes, but I choose obedience. I don't guarantee immediate victories, but I've decided not to back down. May this new year be marked not by an absence of challenges, but by constant presence. May each step be taken with spiritual awareness. May I not trade my courage for temporary comfort. Today I enter this new era with apprehension, yes, but without giving up. With respect for the process, but without paralysis. With caution, but without discouragement. Just as Joshua needed to cross, conquer, and endure, so do I. Not out of ambition, but out of obedience. Not to prove something, but to fulfill what has been placed before me. May this word not only be remembered, but put into practice. May she lift me up on difficult days. May she sustain me when my courage is tested. Be strong, be brave, I receive it, I'm moving forward, I'll go in. There's a point at the beginning of every new cycle when strength has been restored, courage has been assumed, but a silent question still echoes inside. Where exactly should I go now? It is in this space, between the decision to move forward and the need to choose a path, that this word becomes fundamental. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. This verse doesn't begin by talking about direction. It begins by talking about trust, because the greatest challenge of a new year is not the lack of options, but the excess of them. It's not the absence of paths, but the difficulty in discerning which one leads to life. Trusting wholeheartedly is not an emotional act. It's a conscious decision not to base one's own understanding as the ultimate foundation for choices. And this directly confronts how many begin the year, full of plans, strategies, and expectations, but with little willingness to depend on others. This new era demands more than planning. It demands surrender. Some paths seem right because they are familiar. Others seem safe because they are socially approved. Some seem logical because they make sense on paper. But not every logical path is a straight path. Not every well-intentioned choice is aligned. Therefore today, this prayer does not ask for haste. It asks for alignment. Do not lean on your own understanding. This phrase doesn't devalue intelligence. It merely repositions the source of direction. It reminds us that human understanding is limited, conditioned by past experiences, current emotions, and unresolved fears. To rely solely on this is to walk with a partial vision. How many decisions in the last year were made on impulse, driven by exhaustion? How many choices were made simply to alleviate the pressure of the moment? How many paths have been followed without the peace necessary to sustain them? This new year cannot be built on emotional shortcuts. It needs to be built on complete trust. Recognizing the Lord in all our paths isn't just about mentioning Him in big decisions. It's about bringing Him into the ordinary, into our daily steps, into difficult conversations, into necessary silences, into the no's that need to be said, and the yeses that will require maturity. To acknowledge is more than to ask for help. It is to allow governance. Lord, at the beginning of this year, I confess, many times I trusted more in my logic than in your guidance. I based decisions on past experiences without realizing that this new time demands a different approach. Therefore today I choose to trust with all my heart, not partially, not just when it suits me. Teach me to recognize you in the details, to not separate spiritual life from practical decisions, to not walk guided only by urgencies, but by alignment. Straighten the paths that have become crooked due to hasty choices. Straighten the trails that have been diverted for fear of disappointing people. Straighten the steps that have become confused because I tried to control too much. This new year doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be directed. There are times when trusting will mean waiting. At other times it will mean letting go. At some, it will mean saying no to opportunities that seem good but aren't aligned. And all of this requires more faith than simply acting. Straightening the path doesn't mean removing obstacles immediately. It means making the journey consistent with its purpose. It means adjusting the route before the detour becomes too far to correct. May this year I not walk a path torn between faith and control. May I not pray for guidance and at the same time resist it when it contradicts my expectations. May I learn to rest in the process of being guided. Full confidence leads to firm steps, even when the situation is unstable. Today I surrender the decisions I don't yet know how to make. I surrender the paths that lie before me. I surrender the emotional, professional, and spiritual crossroads. I acknowledge the Lord in each one of them. May I not move forward simply because I can, but because I must. I don't want to stay just out of fear of change. May I learn to listen, wait, and obey. This new year will be lived one step at a time, not driven by anxiety but by confidence, not guided by haste but by direction, not built on limited understanding but on straightened paths. Today I trust. Today I recognize it. Today I walk with surrender. And so, the paths align. There comes a moment in every new cycle when it's no longer a lack of strength that prevents progress, nor a lack of direction that confuses our steps. What often paralyzes us is the weight of what's left behind, memories that insist on returning, old decisions that still echo, guilt, frustration, regrets, and even longing that try to define the present. That's why this word is so straightforward. Forgetting the things that are behind me. Forgetting here is not denying that something happened. It is refusing to allow the past to govern the movement of the present. It is choosing not to live as a hostage to what can no longer be changed. It is understanding that carrying old burdens compromises the race that still needs to be run. Moving forward requires letting go. Some people are trying to start a new year with the emotional structures of the past year, trying to build the future with tools that no longer serve them, trying to run while looking backward. And this inevitably leads to setbacks. The apostle writes this passage not as someone who has no past, but as someone who has decided not to live as a prisoner of it. He understood that remaining attached to the past is a silent form of giving up on what lies ahead. Moving forward is a daily choice. Perhaps you're carrying over mistakes that have already been forgiven, but haven't yet been let go of. Perhaps you're holding on to unmet expectations that have become burdens. Perhaps you're trying to prove something because of old wounds. All of this consumes energy that should be directed toward the goal. This new year cannot be lived as an attempt to compensate for the past. It needs to be lived as a call to move forward, moving on toward those that are before me. This requires focus. It requires a clear vision. It requires a willingness to accept that not everything will make sense immediately. Moving forward isn't about recklessly accelerating. It's about maintaining the movement, even when the heart is still adjusting. Pressing on toward the goal is not a metaphor for haste, but for perseverance. It's about getting up every day with the decision not to regress emotionally, spiritually, or mentally. It's about not allowing the past to dictate the pace of the present. And now allow me to ask, respectfully and thoroughly, what are you still carrying that should have been left behind long ago? What memory has been stealing your courage to move forward? What past situation has shaped your identity today? These questions are not meant to generate guilt. They are meant to generate liberation. There is no real progress without conscious liberation. This section doesn't invite you to forget people, stories, or lessons learned. It invites you to release the weight that hinders movement, to transform past experiences into wisdom, not into a prison. Moving forward doesn't mean there was no pain. It means that pain no longer rules. Moving forward doesn't mean everything is resolved. It means you've decided not to stop. This is the point where the heart needs to decide, to continue looking back or to align its gaze with the target. Moving forward requires intention. Today, in this new year, I choose not to be defined by what didn't work. I choose not to carry guilt that no longer belongs to me. I choose not to allow past mistakes to silence new steps. I choose to move forward, moving forward with maturity, moving forward with awareness, moving forward without denying the past but without remaining trapped by it. May this new era be marked by inner lightness. May what's left behind serve only as a lesson, not as an anchor. May I not try to run with unnecessary burdens. Pressing on toward the goal requires inner freedom. Today I'm letting go. Today I move forward. Today I move on, and I move forward, not looking back, but aligned with what lies ahead of me. Getting this far is, in itself, a silent answer. Not everyone started this year with awareness. Not everyone stopped to align their heart. Not everyone decided to dedicate themselves to the present before rushing towards the future. But you stopped. You prayed. You aligned yourself. And now this word seals everything. This is the day the Lord has made. It doesn't say, this is the year you planned. It doesn't say, this is the time you controlled. It says, this is the day the Lord has made. This completely changes the way we live. Because when we understand that the day was made by the Lord, we stop treating it as a burden to be borne and begin to live it as sacred territory to be honored. Each day is not just a sequence of hours, but a divine gift entrusted to our hands. To rejoice here is not to deny challenges. To allege here is not to pretend that everything is resolved. It is to acknowledge that, despite everything, this day exists because God allowed it. This new year will be lived one day at a time. It will not be sustained by anxiety about the future, nor by constant lamenting about the past. It will be built in the present, in the now, on the day the Lord has made. Lord, in this final moment of prayer, I consecrate this new year beginning with today. I don't just surrender distant plans, I surrender the present. I surrender this day with all that it entails. I surrender my expectations, my limitations, my responsibilities, and my decisions. May I learn to live without despising the present. May I not live always waiting for the next milestone, the next turning point, the next answer. Teach me to recognize your presence in the ordinary day, in the simple step, in the silent progress. This is the day the Lord has made. It wasn't meant to be wasted on fear. It wasn't meant to be lived under the weight of guilt. It wasn't meant to be burdened with constant grumbling. It was made to be lived consciously. May this new year teach me to celebrate without superficiality and to face challenges without losing faith. May I not postpone gratitude until everything is resolved. May I recognize the value in today, even when tomorrow is still uncertain. Today I choose to rejoice not because everything is perfect, but because I am aligned. Today I choose to rejoice because I have been sustained until now. Today, I choose to live with presence, not on autopilot. I consecrate my days to you before consecrating results. I consecrate my steps to you before consecrating achievements. May each day of this new year be lived with spiritual responsibility, without excessive haste and without inner negligence. May I know how to begin and end each day with awareness of who made it. May I not treat the days as equals, but as expressions of your continuous faithfulness. This new year won't be perfect, but it will deliver. It will not be without struggles, but it will be consecrated. It will not be lived without effort, but it will be lived with purpose. Today I declare that I receive this day as a gift. I receive this new time with reverence. I choose to rejoice not as an escape, but as a spiritual decision. I choose to live with mature gratitude, not based on circumstances, but on the one who governs time. May each morning this year remind me that the day was made by the Lord. May each night find me at peace for having lived with intention. May I not waste opportunities through distraction nor compromise, days through lack of awareness. This is the day the Lord has made, and I choose to live it to the fullest. Today I consecrate. I'm getting paid today. Today I'm going for a walk. Thus, the new year begins not only on the calendar, but in the heart.